When you guys are building out your businesses, you got to figure out what model you're following. You got to figure out who has a better model. You got to copy the hell out of it. And that's just what it is, right? You got to figure out what is working, what's not working, and then there is someone who's doing your model. Like, trust me, there's someone that's very successful doing what you're doing, but you have to recognize what you are doing. Now, I've tried to create models before. Like, I've tried to figure out, like, create my own little thing, and because I like to do that. I'd love to be like the dude that created a model. I'm talking about a model for running your business, a model for running your funnel of customers, a model for running your funnel of anything you want. But you've just got to have a model that you are following, right? If you are into fitness, right? You're into fitness and you're like, yo, I'm trying to get big, I'm trying to get huge. Well, you better be following a model that's going to help get you there. Because if you're following a model that's like not getting you there, you got to switch it up. So you're going to find someone that's super successful at doing what you're doing, trying to do what you're doing, and that's what you're looking for, right? I've got the model, what I feel like I have the model, I mean, it's pretty unrefuted, but I think I've got the model for lawn and landscape build and sells. That's what I got. Like, I got a course on it. I'm going to expand and update that course a little bit. I know I have building and selling lawn businesses figured out because I've done it 5 times, and I've always made money building and selling lawn businesses, like always. I've lost a lot of money in like biodiesel, some landscape supply stuff, different things. Lost a ton of money in different things, but I've always gotten that stuff figured out. So you've got to understand what it is that you're doing, right? Like Doug and Frank, Florida Lawn, Florida Property, commented earlier, like, he has got a model where they do a lot of trees, where he's got himself his machine, it's an open cab machine, he's got his dump trailer, and he's got his pickup truck, and like he had lawn and landscape accounts, but now he's got pretty much, they're rocking, so like, but they got a model, and the model freaking works. You know, they got a lead funnel, right? They got 2 different sources for their lead funnels. They get their leads, they call their calls, they close their deals, they schedule it out. Then he's got days where like he's down on the keys doing his thing. He's not scheduled. That's the beauty about not being on a maintenance route, right? Is because you can take 3 days off. Doesn't matter if you get to your lawns on Monday or Tuesday. You know, that's what it is. That's why I would build lawn accounts and sell them, because I didn't like being tied to being there on Mondays. I want to go into this model here because it doesn't matter what type of model you've got going on. I want to talk about this. It's a universal principle, a universal model for everybody. It doesn't matter what you're doing. It could be trees, it could be mulching, it could be machine course. Like I've got, it could be lawns. It doesn't matter what you're doing. You do whatever you can do. Understand that you're going to have many different businesses throughout the course of your career. You can have a business for 5 to 10 years. You're going to build it, you're going to sell it, you're going to wreck it, you're going to bankrupt it. Things are going to change and you're going to move on to do other things. It's just what it is. I started out in lawn and landscape, found myself into the mulching side of things. So that's where I'm at, right? And I took a real backwards way to get there. There's 2 models to follow. And it is called the Biggest Midget or straight up flat out corporation. And I'm going to break this down for you. I was watching a video called The Lawn Care Millionaire. A guy named John. I met him at JAE 2 years ago. Really cool. Videos are really boring, but the content's really good. And he was talking about this, and he was basically making a pitch that when you have a business that's doing 100,000 revenue, it's you're doing everything. You're changing tires, you're doing this. You get that business to 150,000 revenue, you're making some money, you're hiring a guy, you're doing pretty good, right? But you're kind of always stuck there unless you go to the $1 million level of business. But the middle ground is a dead man zone. It just is. It's where you're doing 300,000 a year. You're not making any more money than you were when you were doing 150,000 a year. You got different problems, but you still got problems. They're bigger problems, but you solve them differently. You're basically trying to figure out how to solve them. The story with that guy is that he's got he's a partner in some lawn company. He started out when he Lucky and these smaller, these younger guys started like that, like 14 years old, and then he just invested his money, learned business, and he's good at what he does. But the point there being is that there's this middle ground. There is this indefinite middle ground. It's like being Moses in the desert, man. Like, you guys got to either go for it or not go for it. You got to have a model to go through it, and you don't... The point there that John was making in that deal, in that video, was that he believes, because he has the model, he knows how to do it, he's done it many times, he's done a couple different businesses, that it's worth it because then you've got a business that is essentially printing for you. Now, and by printing for you, I mean the business, you don't show up and that thing kind of runs and you just hire people. It is very hard to get to. I got a business to 550,000. We were doing a lot better at 200,000 than we were doing at 550,000, and we had a lot more problems at 500,000. Like a lot more problems. And so the issue there, not the issue there, but that it's just two different models. And so getting back on point is that there are two models. It's called the biggest midget, the point where your business is tight, like my mulching business. Like I got one truck, I got a bigger truck. I got one trailer, I got a smaller trailer. Okay, so I got that part handled, right? I don't have 5 trucks. I don't have this or that. I got a big truck and a small truck, and then I got a big machine and a small machine, right? And in theory, if I can get that tight, I can get everything real tight. I can get my shop with air compressors everywhere. I can get, you know, power tools for everything. I get oil on my truck. I'm never missing a part. I got 50 fuel filters in stock. I got everything just really tight. And I follow that model. You can call me the biggest midget, right? Because I'm never going to be a $5 million a year business doing that. But I'll be a really healthy $400,000 a year business with one guy, right? By really healthy, I mean I'll bring home like 200. I'll bring home 250. I'll just be real quiet about it. People will be like, oh, is that a 94 International you're running? Yeah, it's 94. Nice paint though, right? It looks good. Nice tires. No bald tires on it. Like everything looks good. You know, it's fine. Truth of it is I'm netting like 250, but I'm not going to be out there driving some brand new International for 150,000 when I got my older truck that does the exact same thing. But the point there being is that that's the biggest midget model. You typically will find guys at their older part of their career where they've kind of figured this out. They've kind of figured out what makes them the money. And yeah, you could always go bigger, and you can always choose to go bigger, but it's always important to get your biggest midget thing solved first. And that's just where the potential problems that are going to happen, you've kind of got solved. You know, so like for me, at one point it was like being on a lawn rig, right? And it was just like, okay, do you have a small air compressor on your lawn rig? No. You have a flat tire, Blake? Why? Right? Like, why do you have a flat tire on your mower? Now, it's not that big of a deal. You got another mower in the trailer, great, but like, you should have an air compressor on the truck, or you should at least have a 5-gallon compressed air tank that you fill up at the air compressor at the shop, and you bring that with you on the truck, just in case you got to. You got blower racks, you have all that type of stuff. It's all about having that thing tight. And then when you get into a bigger, like, you know, you get into a bigger deal like Nick Snow and Mo, or Snow and Mo, yeah, I think that's what it was. He had like a solid model, and it was like a freaking baller model, right? It was just kind of cool. It was kind of different. It kind of was, you know, it was tractors, and like it was kind of cool. It was fun, but he found something that was working, and it was like, are you making money? Yeah, we're doing money for sure. And it was like, all right, cool. Well, he found a model that worked, and then he pushed it.